Hello YouTube. So today is my last day, day 13. I decided not to go for the full month. There doesn't seem to be a point in me doing something that other people have already done, especially when I've already had all my questions answered. And I kind of wanted to do a little summary wrap-up video today. Ironically enough, even though it's my last day of Soylent, I may not have any Soylent. There was a they called it Medieval May, and it's kind of like a little community event where they have some 13th and 14th century clothing, and they have weapons, and they showcase some fighting and food and stuff like that. So that's where I ate today, and I've been pretty full. It was quite delicious. So that's what I had for, I guess you could call it lunch. I skipped breakfast, so it's kind of my breakfast too, and I'm still pretty full. So I imagine it's going to be well past supper time by the time I'm ready to eat again. So I might have some Soylent 2.0, but coming down off of such a delicious meal, I might also just make something better for myself. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. I just wanted to put together a summary of everything I've learned and think about Soylent. I've said most of these things in other videos and little snippets here and there, but I wanted to make kind of one cohesive video to bring it all together and kind of put everything in context. So, first of all, did I experience any negative effects? No, not that I can see. I did have some, I guess you could say, mental health side effects, because things like when I'm really stressed out, sometimes I like to take a moment. I take some time and I make some coffee by hand by pouring, water over the beans and stuff like that. And the moment of just doing all that work, and then the moment when you drink the coffee, a lot of times it's delicious, it feels good, just helps calm me down. But after drinking Soylent, sometimes the taste just was, I didn't want it. I didn't really want the coffee. I didn't want water all the time. I didn't want to drink milk. So a lot of like little things, if I wanted something tasty for breakfast, if I wanted some bacon or something, a lot of times I would just say, no, you're not going to have that. You're doing the Soylent thing. If you want to know what kind of effects Soylent is going to have on you, you have to stick to it for the most part. And I found that bothered me quite a bit. It just made me less happy with my day. So I guess food, is important to me. It's important to everybody, but I definitely noticed that as being a very big detractor, more so than the taste or the satisfaction I got from Soylent or anything else. The biggest detractor was that I didn't have that choice. I wasn't eating what I wanted to. So, and what I wanted to eat isn't necessarily healthy, whether that's fresh fruit or whatever, but I think if you're eating Soylent in a regular manner, it wouldn't really be a problem. If you're using it to supplement your diet, to replace unhealthy parts of your diet, the morning McDonald's breakfast sandwich or whatever you have, if you're replacing that with just a glass of Soylent really quickly in the morning, if you're in a rush, stuff like that, I think would make you feel better in a way. I think that's the proper way to use Soylent if you want to save a little bit of time, if you're just going to go eat out because you don't feel like you have time, so you're going to eat out on your way back from work or while you're at work. Bringing Soylent with you or preparing Soylent quickly in the evening, I think, is a healthier alternative. I actually did notice, kind of related to not really wanting to drink milk or water or anything like that, I noticed that dehydration can be a problem. There were a couple days where I felt some minor dehydration. I realized that I wasn't taking in as many liquids as I normally would. So a lot of times with a meal, I'll have a glass of milk, or I'll have a cup of coffee, or even just a glass of water to kind of wash the bread and or crackers or whatever I happen to be eating, to just kind of wash that down. But you don't do that with Soylent because it's a liquid diet, because Soylent is going to be liquid when you drink it. You're not going to want to wash it down with anything, especially with the taste in your mouth, because you're not going to like washing it down with anything. You're not going to want to wash it down with water or coffee or anything, because it just won't necessarily taste as good. So I noticed that I really had to make a conscious effort to keep track of how much water I was drinking and make sure I was getting enough hydration throughout the day. Other than that, it mostly positive effects, actually. I felt a little bit of an increase in energy in the first couple of days. It kind of leveled out again, but I think there was some things I was missing. I could kind of tell anyway that There was something that was missing from my diet. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but eating Soylent for a while definitely rectified that. Helped, aided in digestion a little bit, bowel movements, that kind of thing became more consistent. I'm usually fairly healthy that way anyway, but I have noticed lately that since I eat quite a bit less than I would have on a regular basis before. Now that I'm sitting at home, I'm working from home, I'm typing on a computer all day, I do notice that I eat quite a bit less. And if I do eat a bigger meal, I can have issues digesting that. But Soylent isn't a problem. And actually, having the couple days where I mixed regular food and Soylent, I found the regular food, if I overate a little bit, if I had a little, like, the extra couple slices of pizza or whatever, I found that everything just kind of moved through my digestive tract a little bit nicer. Um, which brings me to, if you're using this, how I think it would be more realistic to use it as a supplement, which is what I think I'm going to do going forward. I'm actually going to continue to drink Soylent, I think, because I think it's a good alternative to some of the other options I have at my disposal when I'm feeling pressed for time. I think I'm going to make sure I have a supply of Soylent 2.0. I can keep them cold in the fridge. They're quick. I find they actually taste fairly good when they're cold. Soylent 1.5, I'm not a huge fan of the flavor. I've just never been able to really get over it. It also takes longer to prepare. It kind of gets rid of some of that convenience factor of Soylent, which makes it more of a hassle, which makes me more apt to just, make a smoothie or something tastier and better anyway if I want to do something quick, but I have that little bit of time. And some of the recipes with Soylent 1.5, like with the banana or with the no-name powdered peach juice, I found those were actually fairly tasty. I like them better than Soylent 2.0, but at that point it's just a glorified smoothie. So I think I might keep some around, but I don't plan on using it for the most part. I think I'll drink a lot more Soylent 2.0. But if we're talking about the practical nature of Soylent, I think Soylent 1.5, the powdered Soylent, is the way to go, Between how cost effective it is, and if you watch my last video, I'm not going to go over all that again, but I just think Soylent 1.5 has a lot of practical applications for us as a whole, for everybody around the planet. I think there's some practical applications there for that kind of powdered, efficient, cheap, easy to transport food substitute. Whereas 2.0 I think is more convenient and more the kind of product that I need. But it's really not extremely cost effective. I can eat well and eat cheaper than I can buy Soylent 2.0. I just know that if I'm pressed for time, it's going to help me maintain a healthier lifestyle. Whereas 1.5, especially in Canada, maybe there's other countries around the world where food's a little bit cheaper, but here I find that it would be impossible to eat for cheaper than I can purchase Soylent 1.5. It may be possible to subsist. I could get a lot of protein and stuff. I've said this before. I could get what I need to live for cheaper than I could eat Soylent 1.5. But even if I'm shopping in bulk, even if I'm buying things on sale, there's no way I could get that same kind of balanced nutrition for that kind of price. So yeah, in the end, I guess if you get Soylent 1.5, try different recipes if the taste doesn't agree with you. Some people like it. At first I didn't mind it, and then I kind of got used to the flavor, and I didn't gag at all anymore, but I still don't feel like I want Soylent 1.5. Sometimes I feel like I want Soylent 2.0, the liquid Soylent. Sometimes I actually want it. I'm just like, you know what? I want a snack. I don't want to break out popcorn or like cheese and crackers or whatever. I don't want to do that. I don't want to eat unhealthily. So I'm just going to grab a bottle of Soylent 2.0 and put that back. And it helps me keep track of my calories. I know I'm not getting anything that I shouldn't. I know I'm getting a well-balanced set of vitamins and minerals. So that's what I'm going to go with in the future. I enjoy it. I would say if you're gonna have 1.5, find some recipes, put the milk or bananas or peach powder or whatever. Just try a few different things until you find something that really lands with you and that you like and that you can continue for a long term basis. For me, that was the no name peach juice powder. Not exactly the healthiest additive. In the future, I may try some chocolate powder, some cocoa powder, or something like that, because I still have a decent amount of it here. Because I planned for the whole month just barely getting by if I went for the whole month, and then the majority of that month was supposed to be the powder, just because it was the affordable option. I didn't think I would be able to afford a full month of Soylent 2.0, or not be able to justify the cost anyway, considering I'd have to spend my entire grocery budget on it and then some, not be able to eat out at all, and be stuck with whatever Soylent was. And I wasn't really positive at the time how it was going to taste or if my body was going to agree with it. So I didn't want to do that. So I got the Soylent 1.5, which actually drastically decreased my grocery bill this month. So yeah, don't want to ramble too long. Don't want this video to be over YouTube's upload limit. I'm not sure what that's at right now, but I basically said everything I feel like I need to about this. Looking at my list of topics here, the first one I've ever made. Looks like I hit all the points. So if you have any questions for me personally, you can just post them in the comments or whatever, and I get them all emailed to me, because it's not like I'm overwhelmed with comments. So they'll go straight to my email. I'll make sure to pop on and reply and answer any questions you might have about the process. And if you want me to point you towards other people who have done more like medical tests, who have taken medical tests before and after a month of Soylent, that kind of thing, I'm sure you can find them on Google, but if you can't, I can always point you in the right direction. So I guess this is so long for now, but not goodbye forever. So how was that for awkwardness? I think that was not bad.